Well, good morning, Woodlawn family. It is a beautiful Wednesday morning. It's a little chilly this morning. It was funny this morning. Pastor is here, but he's in a meeting this morning. And so I was talking to him and he said, "How about that weather out there?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but I realized like I have the luxury, and I call it a luxury because I didn't always have this luxury of parking in the garage. And so when I walk out to my car, I don't really feel like the biting cold. It's cold in the garage, but it's not that cold. And so like I don't really like experience that biting cold. And I was like, "Yeah, it's snowing a little bit." And I was like, "But I don't think it's gonna like stick too much." And he's like, "No, it's cold." And I'm just like, "Oh yeah. It is cold though." And I feel it. I'm about to turn 41 on Friday, and I know that's not that old, but like every year, like I feel the cold a little bit more in my bones. So, it's cold out there, but it's a nice morning, and excited to be with you. Let's see who's on this morning. I see my brother-in-law Mike Kessler is on, and Eric Fleming. Good morning, Eric. Chris Ferguson, hello. Zach, hi, buddy. He's sitting right by me today. Let's see here. Peggy Nunley, good morning. And Melissa Davis, good morning. Mary DiLoretto, good morning. Is bingo this week? Zach, is bingo this week? This Friday?
Let me check the church.
Okay, he's going to check the church calendar. Maybe Mary can let us know. Hi, Ellen Rowe. Good morning. John Johnson, how you doing, brother?
Yes.
Good to see you on here this morning. I hope you're feeling better. And I got the yes from Zach that bingo is this Friday. So Emily Murphy, good morning to you as well. So yeah, we've got some people jumping on here, and we're happy that you're with us on this cold Wednesday morning. Boy, I don't know about you. If you had the opportunity to be at prayer night last night, man, what a powerful night of prayer and worship that we had. If you haven't had an opportunity yet to sign up for the prayer force, it's something that Eric Fleming is in charge of, and he does an amazing job with the prayer force and administrating that whole thing. But if you haven't had an opportunity to sign up, it's not too late. Even if you weren't able to make it to the prayer night last night, it's not too late to be a part of prayer force. It is just something that we started it last year, and we have just seen the powerful effect and impact that just this group of people praying 6 days a week for the different initiatives of Woodlawn Church, the staff, Pastor Matt, just lifting all of those things up in prayer. It's had a tremendous impact. And so, we were talking last night about just all the different things that God had done in 2021. That we had lifted up in prayer as the prayer force, and how God had his hands all over those things. And so if you want to be a part of that, I would encourage you. You can still sign up for that. It's not too late to be a part of that. So prayer night last night was just incredible. Couple other things we have going on. We're wrapping up our 21 days of prayer and fasting here in just a few days. And again, I would say, like, if you didn't jump on board right away and you still want to do that, it's not too late. You can jump on board with this 21 days of prayer and fasting. It won't be 21 days, but that's okay. It's just a time that we can set aside to just lean into what God is speaking to us for 2022, to give back to God just some time and some focus to Him, to focus on what He's speaking to us, and just giving up prayers and petitions to Him as well. So if you didn't join in at the beginning, again, that's okay. You can join in right now for the last few days of the 21 days of prayer and fasting. And then the last thing we are so excited about, and we've been talking about this for a few weeks now, is our community groups. And we found out yesterday that we have almost 300 people signed up for our community groups. That is incredible. We have over 30 groups that are available to sign up for, and I wanted to highlight just a few that do still have some openings. One is a really cool group. I wish I could sign up for it, but it's on Wednesday nights, so I'm a little busy on Wednesday nights. But it's with Jim Whittaker, and it's called Darwin, Dinosaurs, and You, and it's a biblical creation worldview study. And Jim Whittaker is an amazing guy. I found out that, Zach, I didn't know this. Jim Whittaker is actually a certified personal trainer. I did not know that. So this guy is a jack of all trades. He can do just about anything, and he's also very well versed in creationism. And so what a cool group that you could be a part of. Another one is by Stacy Clace. It's called Healthy Happy Moms. And they still have some openings. Emily Henning's group is called Image of God. They're doing a study about the image, being in the image of God, being made in the image of God. And Emily Henning is one of our youth leaders at the Mix, and she teaches Fuse on Sunday mornings as well, and just an incredible young lady. She's an amazing pianist as well, but just very, very smart, and loves the Lord, and so you would get a lot out of being a part of her group as well. So those are a few groups that still have some openings. If you're looking for a group to sign up for, I would encourage you to hop online at woodlawnonline.com and sign up for a group before those spots fill up as well. But before we get started, one other thing I have to do is I just have to say hello to my beautiful niece, Emily. She loves when her Uncle Andrew is on the screen, whether it's on the break or preaching or doing the morning devotional. She loves it, and so I always like to just give her a special little shout out. She's an amazing little girl. She's gonna turn 7 years old, I believe. I hope I'm being a good uncle and remembering how old she is. But I believe she's going to turn 7 just here in a few days, and so we're excited for that. But what's really cool about Emily is that she loves when I'm on the screen, and so they at school. And if you don't know who Emily is, she's my niece, but she has cerebral palsy. She's nonverbal. She communicates in her own special way, and it's really cool to see. But when she's at school, they bribe her with her Uncle Andrew. So like if she does like her work, if she answers a question, they'll show like little bits of, like, if I was doing a morning devotional, they'll show little bits of that for her as a bribe, as a reward for doing her work. And so it's cool because like now the word is getting to her teachers, and the truth of the gospel is getting to her teachers through my niece. And that's just really cool. So anyway, hi, Emily. I love you. Have a great day at school and do all your work, and don't make them bribe you with me. But if you do, they do, that's okay. Anyway, well, today I just wanted to just give you just a word of encouragement. Something that happened to me a few weeks ago. I was leaving the gym. I was on my way to work, and I was listening to a song that many of you probably know. It's called The Blessing by Cody Carnes and Carrie Job, and it's just a beautiful and powerful song, just a song of blessing that they sing over people. And you know, we've sung it here a few times at church as well, and there's so many powerful statements that are made in the song. But this particular day, there was a phrase that resonated with me more than I probably expected that day. And you know, if we're not careful, we can tritely make this statement and dismiss it, and turn it, you know, into something just ordinary, instead of the amazing, powerful statement that it is. And that statement is this: He is for you. God is for you. In the song, Carrie Job is singing, she just repeats it over and over and over again. And maybe that's where the trap comes in for us, is that because it's just this phrase that gets repeated over and over, that we dismiss it. But that's not why they sing it over and over again. It's not because it just fits, or, because they couldn't think of another line. It's because there are few things that can be said about God's view of us that compare to knowing that he is for us. So today I want you to remember that God is for you. The maker of the universe is for you. The God who became flesh and died on the cross because of our sins is for us. He's for you today. Romans 8:31 says, "What shall we say about such wonderful things as these? If God is for us, who can ever be against us?" And as this phrase echoed in my heart, I began just sobbing in the car. I don't mean like a tear trickled down my face. Like, if you were at prayer night last night, I'm a crier. Like, I just cry. But like, this was like ugly cry. Like, I mean like the cry where you're like sucking in air, and like I almost had to pull off the side of the road because I was just sobbing. And I'm driving and I'm like, God, like, what are you speaking to me right now? Because I know you are for me. I know that. Like, I know Romans 8:31. I don't doubt that you are for me. So like, why is this hitting me so hard today? And the weight of that statement, it just shook me in the moment. And then it struck me that to truly appreciate the phrase, I really have to make my mind play my memories in a loop. What do I mean by that? Well, in order to grasp the weight of his being for us, we have to draw a line back to the times that he has been for us. And I think that's what was happening for me that day, was like just knowing that, sometimes I forget how God has been for me in the past. And so that's why we need to build monuments. Pastor Matt talked about that this week in our journey through the book of Joshua and the Israelites crossing the Jordan, right? And then in chapter 4, God instructs Joshua to have the people bring stones, have 12 men bring stones to build a monument, right? And it says this, it says, "When all the people had crossed the Jordan, the Lord said to Joshua, 'Now choose 12 men, one from each tribe. Tell them, take 12 stones from the very place where the priests are standing in the middle of the Jordan. Carry them out and pile them up at the place where you will camp tonight.' So Joshua called together the 12 men he had chosen, one from each of the tribes of Israel. He told them, 'Go into the middle of the Jordan in front of the ark of the Lord your God. Each of you must pick up one stone and carry it out on your shoulder, 12 stones in all, one for each of the 12 tribes of Israel. We will use these stones to build a memorial. In the future, your children will ask you, 'What do these stones mean?' Then you can tell them, 'They remind us that the Jordan River stopped flowing when the ark of the Lord's covenant went across. These stones will stand as a memorial among the people of Israel forever.' So the men did as Joshua had commanded them. They took 12 stones from the middle of the Jordan River, one for each tribe, just as the Lord had told Joshua. They carried them to the place where they camped for the night and constructed the memorial there." And so that's why it's so important to build monuments, to make sure that we remember all the time. So, that God has been for us, and that's what I started doing that day. I started thinking about the times that week that God was for me. All the things that I was anxious about. It was like the first week we were coming back from Christmas break, and so you just have that stress of coming back from vacation, and so I started thinking about all the things that kept me awake, all the things that had weighed down on me, knowing what I had to do when I got back from vacation. And I was able to see how God's hand had been on every single thing. The things that kept me up were nothing to God. He handled them. And I realized something, that yes, I know God is for me, but I don't always walk in that when I am anxious about something. I don't always unroll that carpet down my path as I enter a project. How many great things have I let pass me by because I don't put that phrase out in front of me, and I've allowed my anxious thoughts, my doubts, and my fears to overtake the truth that God is for me because he has been for me in the past. See, I think God knows that we have short memories when it comes to his goodness for us. And that's why he instructed Joshua to build these monuments after the people crossed the Jordan. So we need to build monuments. And it's not a thing of we live in the past. No, we don't live in the past, but we always remember what God has done for us. And something else I find intriguing is if you flip back in Joshua from chapter 4 to chapter 3, there's a really cool thing that happens. In Joshua chapter 3, verse 15 and 16, it says, "It was the harvest season, and the Jordan was overflowing its banks." And if you remember from this past weekend, Pastor Matt talked about this, how the river was like a mile wide. Because it was the harvest season. It was actually springtime. So like you had a lot of rain coming. You had, even though it was harvest season, it wasn't harvest season as we know it in the fall. It was actually, it was a different harvest. And so it was in the springtime. And so there was a lot of rain. Any snow that was on the mountains or anything like that would be melting and flowing down. And so it was overflowing its banks. And so, it says, "But as soon as the feet of the priests who were carrying the ark touched the water at the river's edge, the water above that point began backing up a great distance away at a town called Adam, which is near Zarethan. And the water below that point flowed on to the Dead Sea." I mentioned this a lot, that there's no throwaway word in the Bible. There's the every word that's in the Bible is there for a reason, right? And so I think it's really cool that it lets us know that the water stopped at a town called Adam. And I think it's just this way of, it was God's way of letting the people there know and letting us know that from the beginning of time, from Adam, before Adam, God's been making a way for us. And I think that's really cool, to understand that God has been making a way for us. God is working ahead of us. A pastor friend of mine just yesterday posted from their church, and it just said, "God had a plan before you had a need." God is working ahead of you. So what does that mean? It means that the work meeting that you're getting ready to head into, that you lost sleep over last night, God's already worked it out. It means that the diagnosis that you're waiting for, God knows what it is, and he's already set a healing ahead of you. That the impossible financial situation that you don't know how you're going to get past, that he's already made a way. That since Adam, before Adam, you were on God's heart, and he knew you, and he was already working things out for you. And I can just tell you, there are so many different ways that I can look and I can see how God went ahead of me, that God made a way for me, that God was already planning things for me before I even knew I needed to deal with it. We took a trip to Atlanta for Passion with some young adults, and I don't really have time to get into all the stories of how God's hand was on us. We had van trouble, and one quick story: we had van trouble, and we had to take, the check engine light came on, it wasn't running right, and we had to take the van to AutoZone, and they hooked it to the scanner to let us know what was going on. And when it told us what was going on, Ken Keogh, who was with us, was like, you know what? I just fixed that on another car 2 weeks ago. So I know exactly what it is. I know exactly where it's at. I can fix it in the parking lot. And it was just one more example of how God had gone ahead of us. God had prepared Ken 2 weeks before for the trip, for us, our trip to Atlanta, Georgia, to go to Passion. And God was ahead of us. God is working ahead of you today. I just want to encourage you with that today, that he is for you. God is for you. He has been for you. He has proved it in your life. And so I just encourage you to take time today to reflect on that and walk into your future with that truth close to your heart. So as we close, I want to read a psalm as a prayer over you today. And it's Psalm 139. I just want to read it as our prayer for you today. And I just hope that you'll reflect on it in your heart and your mind today as you go through the day. And it just says this: "O Lord, you have examined my heart and know everything about me. You know when I sit down or stand up. You know my thoughts, even when I am far away. You see me when I travel and when I rest at home. You know everything I do. You know what I am going to say even before I say it, Lord. You go before me and follow me. You place your hand of blessing on my head. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too great for me to understand. I can never escape from your spirit. I can never get away from your presence. If I go up to heaven, you are there. If I go down to the grave, you are there. If I ride the wings of the morning, if I dwell by the farthest oceans, even there your hand will guide me and your strength will support me. I could ask the darkness to hide me and the light around me to become night. But even in darkness, I cannot hide from you. To you, the night shines as bright as day. Darkness and light are the same to you. You made all the delicate inner parts of my body and knit me together in my mother's womb. Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvelous. How well I know it. You watched me as I was being formed in utter seclusion, as I was woven together in the dark of the womb. You saw me before I was born. Every day of my life was recorded in your book. Every moment was laid out before a single day had passed. How precious are your thoughts about me, O God. They cannot be numbered. I cannot even count them. They outnumber the grains of sand, and when I wake up, you are still with me. Oh God, if only you would destroy the wicked. Get out of my life, you murderers. They blaspheme you. Your enemies misuse your name. Oh Lord, shouldn't I hate those who hate you? Shouldn't I despise those who oppose you? Yes, I hate them with total hatred, for your enemies are my enemies. But search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Point out anything in me that offends you and lead me along the path of everlasting life. Amen. Amen. Well, I just want to encourage you today. Walk in knowing that God is for you, that he has been for you. He goes ahead of you. He goes behind you. He goes beside you, and he is for you today. We love you. I hope you have a great day. We can't wait to see you on Sunday at one of our 3 services, 8 o'clock, 9:30, or 11 a.m. Have a great day, everyone.